I spun around in a circle, arms outspread, grinning like an idiot. All this space! The room was at least twice the size of my room in Brooklyn. The windows were large and let in plenty of light, at least from the front. No fire escapes, no brick walls, no neighbors' windows, no rumble of traffic, no horns blowing, no sirens. From the double windows, I saw my aunt's yard and a shady street. A woman walked a dog, a boy rode by on a bike, 2 little girls played hopscotch on the sidewalk. Somewhere a lawnmower droned. Nice, but not as interesting as the view from the other window. From the side, I looked straight into the woods. The trees were so close that leaves brushed against the screen. Miss Dupree's property was deep and dark and endless. A forest in a fairy tale where nothing was what it seemed and danger lurked in the shadows. Witches, wicked fairies, enchantments good and bad, all the things I loved to read about. What if I were a girl in such a forest, lost and afraid? Perhaps a witch lived in the cottage. Perhaps she'd invite me in and cast a spell on me and keep me prisoner. Perhaps I'd be rescued. Perhaps I wouldn't be. Perhaps I'd find my own way home. Maybe I'd write a story about that girl. But now I wanted to explore the woods in real life. I might come face to face with animals I'd never seen outside of a zoo. Deer, raccoons, possums, foxes. Nothing big and dangerous like a bear or a wolf. They probably lived in the mountains I'd seen in the distance. When Aunt Alice and I sat down for dinner, I asked her if she'd ever met Miss Dupree. "Once," Aunt Alice said. "It didn't go well." "Why? What happened?" "Not long after I moved here, I saw her walk past my house. I tried to introduce myself, you know, like people do. She looked me in the eye and said, 'No need for introductions. I keep to myself. That's why I have a fence. That's why I've posted no trespassing signs.' I've never spoken to her again, nor she to me." I leaned across the table, eager to hear more about our strange neighbor. "What does she look like?" "It's hard to say, Zoey. She's not really old, but certainly not young. Not pretty, but not ugly either." Aunt Alice sipped her iced tea. "She's average height, I'd say, and thin. Her hair's gray, and she wears it in a knot at the nape of her neck." She paused a moment before adding, "There's definitely something strange about her. Maybe because she lives alone and hardly ever leaves her house. Maybe it's her cats. She has at least a dozen, all black, totally wild, the skinniest, ugliest cats I've ever seen. They roam the neighborhood, killing birds and terrifying pets, both cats and dogs. Children, too." Now I pictured Miss Dupree as a fierce old lady with her hair screwed tightly into a bun, wearing a saggy dress and sneakers, but meaner than the grouchy old women in Brooklyn. Aunt Alice surprised me by saying, "The few times I've seen her, she's been well-dressed, beautifully tailored clothing, long flowing scarves, that sort of thing. Very expensive, I'd say." "Where does she go dressed up like that?" "I have no idea. But sometimes she comes home in an old taxi. The driver usually follows her inside. He leaves with an armload of boxes. He must deliver them for her." "What's in the boxes?" "No idea." She laid down her fork. "It's odd, now that I think about it, but I've never seen that cab anywhere else in town." She helped herself to another piece of chicken and passed me the platter. While I ate, I made a plan to follow Miss Dupree the first time I saw her. I'd keep an eye out for the cab, too. Aunt Alice tapped my wrist to get my attention, the exact same thing Mom did. "You seem very curious about Miss Dupree. Believe me, she's a very unpleasant woman. Please stay away from her and her woods. When she says no trespassing, she means no trespassing." I busied myself with my chicken. Aunt Alice